Welcome to part 2 of our exclusive 3-part interview series with Britney Spears' ex-manager, Sam Lutfi. If you missed the first part, be sure to click up here for the playlist to watch in the proper order. Or you can go to our website, PopcornedPlanet.com, and sign up today for exclusive content, including the full uncensored versions of these episodes. He gave a lot more insight, so you can check it out there. In 2007, the world watched a superstar unravel. The media turned it into a sport.
Staying up all night?
Pop icon Britney Spears was hunted, chased by mobs of paparazzi, dissected by tabloids that treated her pain like entertainment. Every tear was a photo op. The head shaving, the hospital visits, the custody battles with K-Fed, the chaos that ended with her family seizing control through a conservatorship. Looking back now, it was terrifying. A cultural feeding frenzy that pushed a young mother to the edge and made millions off her suffering. And right there, at the height of it all, stood one man, Sam Lutfi. To some, he was the manipulative Svengali who fueled the fire. To others, the only one who actually tried to help. Lutfi always insisted he blamed the family, that they were the ones controlling, not protecting, and that all he ever wanted was Britney's freedom, something that years later seemed to prove true.
If she doesn't follow orders, they'll take her kids away. When did somebody kind of wake up and question this?
For years, his voice was silenced. His name was dragged through the headlines.
What kind of person is this Sam Lutfi?
Low-life loser.
But tonight, Sam Lutfi finally speaks. What really happened behind the cameras? This is his side of the story, and this is the Popcorned Interview. This video is sponsored by Raycon. When I'm walking my beautiful puppy, Winnie, I want to make sure I can hear her and stay safe around her. Ooh, that was close. I also don't want to lose any quality to my tunes. That's why I've fallen in love using Raycon's Essential Open Earbuds. And you should too. They're sleek, smart, and way more comfortable than my other earbuds. Raycon's Essential Open Earbuds keep your ears open while still delivering crystal clear sound. They sit just outside your ear canal so you can stay tuned into traffic, friends, or whatever's happening around you without losing out on music or podcast quality. In fact, they deliver the same premium audio quality as the big brands, but at half the price. And right now, our viewers can get 30% off. They're lightweight, breathable, fit, with flexible ear hooks adapting to any ear, and it has over 36 hours of battery life. They even have a 30-day happiness guarantee. So click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/popcornedopen to get 30% off the Essential Open Earbuds today. When we talked before, it was kind of surprising. You are a big fan of Justin Timberlake. You've spoken pretty positive of him. You think he was a good influence in Britney's life. The people on the internet, though, have come to really despise Justin. Can you tell us sort of the truth? What is Justin really like, and was he good or bad in Britney's life, in your opinion?
She looked at Justin as one of the great moments of her life. It was a very special time for her. I mean, her parents would constantly get overly involved in all her relationships. It's any relationship would get in, they would poison the well with thoughts. They would just wanted her to be single all the time. They didn't approve of anything. To her, it was this young love. They're both great big stars. He was fantastic to her. His family was the dream family she always wanted. His mother is what she always wanted her mom to be like. She played his music all the time, would dance to his music all the time. So she had an enormous amount of respect for him. She really loved him a lot. She really cared about him. I would ask sometimes, like, hey, so what happened? You know, it's just embarrassing, you know, and never really got a straight answer. So I don't have anything to say other than I think there was so much influence coming in, and there was a lot of rumors. People would tell her rumors. He's doing this. He's doing. They would try to get in her head, just like we witnessed with every relationship she ever had. I remember that year he had a new album. I think they came out with Timberlake or whatever, and I remember we had to go buy it, and she would pump it out in the car and play it. So. When the fans are jumping down, I think it's odd because that was like probably a good time in her history. I think that was like a good time in her evolution. You know, they were both evolving at the same time. They were both young. They were both kids. And it's just like a special nostalgic period of her life.
The internet has not been kind to him, though. They look back now on that time period at him being
I don't get it.
problematic, trying to cancel him. He was saying stuff about her, like about their sex life and Cry Me a River, all this stuff. Like,
I think that's all art and music. I don't think she's ever been bothered by it. I don't even know who he's really talking about in that sense. I think it would have been better, I think, in my opinion, for the fans to preserve that moment of her life as a sacred kind of, you know, cool time of her period. Like, hey, that was two stars, two people that didn't need each other for fame or money. Here's a guy who had his own career and his own money, and you know, they were equals. And I think that's the first and only and last time she had an equal in her life. So I think it's unfair for everyone to target Justin.
Was Justin actually helpful during your tenure?
100%. So I never reached out to him. I didn't call him. I just remember the press was, you know, had no idea what was really going on. 2007, everyone's seeing all this crazy stuff. And then we get a call from Justin. And it's like, hey, I remember his voicemail vividly. It's like, hey, this is Justin Timberlake. I hate saying that. That sounds so weird to say, Justin Timberlake. But I know I don't want to sound like I'm intruding. I just want to know if there's any way or anything that you guys need. I'm here. She's a very special person in my life, et cetera, et cetera. And I missed the call. And so I played the voicemail later. And we were driving in this little mini car or whatever. And that brought tears to her eyes. And it was very emotional to me too, because we weren't hearing from people from her life. There was like, you know, no sister, no mom, no nothing offering to help. And immediately after that, his mom, Lynn Harless, the same name as her own mom, started calling. This is a woman who has money, who has a famous son. She doesn't need anything. This isn't public. There's no Instagram. She would call probably every day, checking in on us.
Wow.
Do you need anything? You guys want to come to Tennessee? Do y'all want to come here? I'll send a private jet. Do you need to get away from the paparazzi? Do you need lawyers? And I would tell Brittany all the time, and it would get her choked up, because her own parents were doing nothing. To the contrary, they were causing problems. And then this guy and his mom are offering the world. And no one went to them and said, hey, you guys, you're the ex, you should come in. So it was very comforting to get these calls from Justin's mom. She would talk, she would compliment Brittany's new hair, whatever it was, and Brittany would just glow. She had a really special partner heart for his mom. She's just a really special woman. And they were constantly just, whatever you need, we'll do it. This wasn't public. This wasn't to gain any attention. There was legitimate concern for her welfare.
Brittany spoke positively of Justin's family in the book. So you're confirming that was the case.
Yeah.
Well, her mom's asking for money. Justin's mom came out of nowhere.
Was offering money. Justin's mom was offering money, offering private jets, offering everyone to go to their house out there and say, no one will bother you out here if you need a place to get away. She said, I don't read the press. I don't believe anything that says in the press. I deal with this with my own kid. You tell me what's going on, and I'll take, I'll believe the truth. And I'm like, wow, this is so, it was like this auntie that really wasn't her aunt, that I wish was somebody related, because there was no one in her family that would call and help out. It was sad, so when I saw everybody dogpiling Justin, I thought, I don't know where this is stemming from, or where this arises from, because he's never come up and said anything. His mom's never voiced her opinion on that. But if anything brought any type of light during these dark times, it's when Justin or his mom would call. It was refreshing. It was really nice.
Speaking of the book, you're not in the book.
Yep.
You're not in the book.
I'm not in the book.
Why do you think that is, or what happened?
I don't know if the book was being constructed during the conservatorship or not. I don't know who's writing it. I don't know if there was, I have a lot of experience with celebrities writing books, and sometimes they have no part in it. Sometimes they do. I didn't know how I was going to be perceived in it. I also just didn't care. I didn't want to be in it. I mean, this is the first interview I've ever done. This is, you're not paying me. This is costing me money.
You flew out to Tampa. Yeah.
So it's like, I just was like, you tell your story, keep me out. I've been slung through this, dragged through the mud, and she has never mentioned me ever. And it's like, all right, great. After the conservative, she could have gone on Twitter or Instagram, said, Sam did that, never did. And I was very comfortable with that. So it was nice. So my lawyers had reached out to her lawyers and said, hey, if there's any way we can get a copy of the book first. They said, no, we're not giving out. And they said, well, my client would just like to express the fact that he would rather not be mentioned in it.
So you asked to be out of the book.
Mm-hmm. And
through your lawyers said, and
she gracefully removed me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be seen as you were behind the book. Justin's in the book.
Is that a check? Is that money coming from it?
Did anyone ever come to you and sort of say, how'd you manage to not be in the book?
Yeah. Yeah, someone did.
Oh, really? You know what? Do you want to share?
I mean, I ran into Justin recently, and his wife wasn't really happy that I wasn't in the book. And
Oh, wow.
I think she might have perceived it as like I'm mastermind behind that. I have nothing to do with the book. I told her, I said, look, I kindly asked not to be in it, and maybe they should have just done the same,
But they were worried. Him and his wife, Jessica, they thought maybe you were behind it.
Not Justin.
Oh, just her.
Yeah.
Was she upset?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So she didn't see, but that's the thing. Some people I don't seem to want to trust you.
They jump to conclusions. Yeah, they thought, like, you maneuvered your way out. I said, yeah, I just kindly asked not to be in it. I mean,
Well, they're making a movie now too.
yeah, they're making a movie.
Do you know anything about that?
Tidbits. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll make the movie? It's kind of weird that you're not in the story, Sam.
I don't want to be in it unless the truth is going to be portrayed, and that's hard. It's hard to convey. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I'm this great guy. I don't give a fuck what people believe in me. That's not important. It's just when there's lies out there that are being perpetuated, it sucks. It sucks for everybody because if you're going to do a biopic or a story, the truth needs to be out there. People really need to know the truth. And there's this huge anti-Sam lobby that was funded by the conservatorship for 15 so odd years. So it was a strong lobby to keep people anti-Sam, and it was very, very effective. And I could have come out and said things many times, and of course I was, my wrists were tied legally, but I learned to just continue moving on with my life. I have a great life. I have a great family. I love my life. I'm pretty content, pretty happy with everything. And this will surface again, and people, oh, there's fame hungry. What do you mean fame? I've rejected every book offer, which were in the multiple millions of dollars, every interview that was paid.
Full disclosure, we've talked for a bit, and I kept asking. I was pretty, I guess, persistent enough to finally get you to speak.
Yeah. It hit a nerve when the father of the kids came out and started. It struck me.
Yeah.
I sat there and thought, now's the time. Yeah.
It seems like someone needs a defender.
There's no one else. I mean, hey, I lived with this woman consistently for a long period of time, with those kids, with her. So if anyone can actually defend her, I think it's me. I don't know who else. And if there's anybody else that can defend her, they should be out there also defending her. I think this is the time where we have to combat these lies and set his history straight. It's just this. It's our civic duty to do that. It's the right thing to do.
I mean, K-Fed seems to be trying to put her back in the conservatorship. Oh, it was better. And another character I want to bring up is Jamie Lynn Spears, her sister. You have not been kind to her online. And you have not held back your thoughts.
I think people fired off on these tweets years ago when I said, look, she was never really close to Jamie Lynn. They very distant span of the time between them. Britney was on the road, earning money to support her family, and Jamie Lynn came far after, and Britney was already in Hollywood, and then so they didn't have this upbringing where there was two sisters going on. So when Jamie Lynn got her show, off the
Zoe 101,
curtailing Britney's fame and success. I mean, that's just the fact. Britney was there to support her and was happy for her. And so when we were in this mess, I would try to reach out to her and say, hey, come over. And we'd talk briefly, and she was young. I'm like, what am I going to get out of a 15-year-old? So all right, didn't say much about it, but they were never close. So she would come over once or twice. They would say very little. There was just like, they were strangers. And Britney just kind of felt like, oh, that's my sister. They didn't know each other. So, and then she wasn't always very kind to her sister, her big sister. She just didn't always have, I think she really took a page out of her mom's book on that one, and would just really compare Britney to, I think there was some surface jealousy that was there, and it would just peer its head out at times. And she would just say really kind of negative things that would hurt her sister a lot. And then she'd go, oh, that's the way you're going to handle it. Fine, I'll leave. And then she'd take off. And then when I did hear from her when she got pregnant and was losing the show. And she said, well, I just want to leave anyway. I want to go back with this guy, Casey. She called me up and said, I don't know who else to reach to. My mom's going to be against this. My dad's chasing me. Things are going. She wanted to get an emancipation and have this child. And I thought, look, you have this amazing career. I don't think this is right. I don't think this is the right decision for you to have a kid. I agree with everyone else saying, but I mean, it's your body. It's your choice, do whatever. But I don't give a damn. I said, you're going to lose this show. You can't be a 15-year-old having a child. She didn't really care. She was just ready to sacrifice it all. And at that point, her dad was chasing her down. And so I asked Brittany, said, can we get your sister bodyguards and security? And she said, yeah, she's dealing with my crazy dad too. I said, yeah. So we sent security to help her because she was afraid of her father at that time. But my criticism lies straightly on the fact that every time we'd come to her, she would intervene. She would get in and always kind of take the parent side. She was closer to her dad. I think she grew up with the dad more than Brittany ever knew her dad. So
She was scared of her dad, clearly at times, and not a good relationship, but still
almost
constantly side with her.
kind of like some weird Stockholm syndrome or inverted narcissistic syndrome or something. I don't know. I'm not diagnosing him, but it's just this weird, when she was pregnant, she was deathly afraid of him. And then I think they just have been raised to resort back to, he garners all of this power, so we'll submit and let him do his thing. And I was hoping maybe, Jamie Lynn would come in and fight this conservatorship and help Brittany get freed. And
She seemed to do the opposite. And now
Yeah,
there's text messages coming out in K-Fed's book.
horrendous. Just
Are you surprised that those texts were in there? Apparently, Jamie Lynn didn't know. She's now unfollowed K-Fed. What do you think happened there?
I mean, if that's true, who knows what's true? I mean, maybe she's upset that he put it out there. I think maybe he didn't get her permission or whatever. She probably didn't think that would ever surface or come to light. Oh, it's kind of funny. But in the last few years of the conservatorship, I was reaching out to her a lot. I spoke to her husband many times. He was a nice guy, and I thought maybe I could, convince him to help her sister. And would say, I think you guys are just really comfortable knowing that she's paying all these bills and covering all this, and she's unhappy. But she didn't care. She didn't want to help. She didn't want to do anything.
She does like to play the victim, though, in all this story. Have you noticed that?
I think there's.
Do you think she is a victim?
I think growing up and being interjected into Hollywood at a young age. Yeah.
Being in her big sister's shadows?
Yeah. I remember when I was making dessert for her one time. And she's like, we made brownies and we wanted whipped cream. And there was no whipped cream. I said, here's heavy whipping cream in the fridge. She goes, what does that do? So I poured it in a blender, puts her sugar, whipped it, and turned it into whipped cream. She was like, what? And so we're like slathering on these brownies. Jamie and I were eating it, just having a nice little heart-to-heart. And she's just telling me she never wanted to be here. And she just said, I want to go back to high school. I want to go back to all my friends over there. I said, well, maybe we could get up in the morning, have breakfast with Lynn and talk to her about it. She'll never listen to me, never listen to me. And she was right, because we did get up and try to talk to Lynn. This is absolutely not going to happen. Absolutely not. This is literally two weeks before we learned that she was pregnant. So I almost felt like she deliberately tried to get pregnant to get out of it. So at that point, I did feel Jamie Lynn was a victim. At that point, because she told me this was not what she wanted to be in. She was so homesick, and I felt bad for her, and I think just maybe it's coincidence or not, but maybe she just felt this is the way out.
Now, fast forward, her not really stepping up to help with the conservatorship.
She wasn't raised to be that type of person. Yeah. That, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree in that sense.
She also seems to be close to Lou Taylor,
Yeah.
an interesting individual I want to ask you about. Were you there? There's always this alleged moment where Lou Taylor showed up.
No, you're not alleged.
Okay. So what happened? When did Lou Taylor show up in the
Lou
illusion?
Taylor showed up early 2007. Somebody orchestrated some sort of delivery to the gate, and we let them in. I don't remember why, what happened. And this woman pulls up to the gate. We thought we were getting a delivery, and she comes out like kind of barefoot, wearing this weird hippie sundress. And she's got this silver pail, and Allie and Brittany were just talking upstairs.
Allie's her assistant.
Yeah, her assistant at the time.
Yep.
And we're looking out the window, and this woman is yelling, demons are here, and pulling stuff out of his bucket and throwing it around the house. And I said, oh my God, so some homeless person just broke in. We got to call security. And I remember looking out, she goes, oh no, she recognized there's a Southern accent. She goes, this must be somebody that my parents met. Like, what are you talking about? How? Like, what is this? I mean, this wasn't somebody with a briefcase and let's come in and talk. I mean, this was really off. There was just something odd about it. And we never opened the door. We were listening, kind of laughing, kind of freaked out. And then she gets on her knees, she's on the driveway, and Allie goes, dear God, she was throwing stuff, and Allie goes, I think that's a pail of soul. And I go, what is this? What's going on? And she starts blurting all this stuff out. And Brittany and Allie go, oh my God, Sam, she's speaking in tongue. And I was like, what are you talking about? What's going on? And I thought this lady was some schizophrenic, losing her mind in the driveway.
This is Lou Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I immediately called security and said, hey, come in. We've got a crazy woman who, I don't know if she's going to burn the house down. I don't know what she's going to do. You get her out of here. And they come and they apprehend her and they take her away. And that was it. That was our meeting, the extent with this woman. And so I remember calling back home, said, do you know who this was? And he goes, oh my God, Jamie must have told her how to get in and sent Lutfi. I go, what is this? She was throwing salt, saying there's demons possessing the house and she needs to rid these demons. I thought, well, all right, well, that was crazy. So, we called the lawyers and said, all right, well, I don't think there's much to worry about. This is weird. It's an isolated incident. We'll let it go.
Well, and for people who don't know who are watching, Lou Taylor, spoiler alert, grows up to then lead the TriStar management and control a lot of the Britney stuff.
Maybe she was speaking in tongues to some sort of power. Maybe there was some sort of...
She's very litigious, allegedly, I'm saying, Lou. My goodness.
Going through it after the conservatorship started, when the conservatorship happened, and after that, and going through all my legal cases, I found out how involved she was, that Lou Taylor, orchestrated the entire event. And so that was...
Orchestrated which?
The entire conservatorship.
That was her doing.
Yeah.
How you say that confidently.
Yeah. I mean, we have testimony. We have declarations from numerous people that testified on my behalf. They were there when she compiled all these people and had Jamie's ear and even Lynn's at one point. Even though Lynn didn't like her, she was promising, hey, I'll get you back in with your daughter. I mean, their whole thing was, getting into the gravy train of the Spears camp. So she, they talked about how much she bragged about hiring these lawyers in LA and setting up a conservatorship and having a chalkboard or a pinboard about, here, these are the steps that we need to attain this conservatorship. First, the victim has to be isolated and cut off from society. Number two, has to be prevented from driving their own cars. 3, phone lines have to be proven to be cut. So this sounds reminiscent of what I was accused of. They're listed on the website of what you need in order to attain a restraining order to get a conservatorship. If somebody needs to be unlawfully restraining somebody or undue influence, holding someone back. So it was like step 1, 2, here's all the steps. And so they had Jamie didn't participate, but they had Lynn, give a declaration, which I later sued and won because it was all untrue. And they told Lynn to testify that she witnessed all this stuff. I don't know how. She wasn't even in the same state. In order for them to garner this control, and they were very successful in doing so.
Wow.
So, and it worked. And so I think knowing that worked, she was able to come in and say, hey, I made this happen. You have control of your daughter. And this is, I assume this, I need to be rewarded by managing her life after that.
I mean, Lou Taylor's then also gone on to Kim Kardashian's come up and mentioned it. Courtney Love was in a big fight with her. Diddy, the TriStar management was the Diddy trial. It seems like she likes to get their hands in a lot of this too.
Well, I think you start out with Britney Spears and you have this huge entity. It's easy to acquire more clients after that. I think getting that name, saying, hey, I also rep Britney Spears. People are like, oh, Britney's doing well right now. She's on tour. This is great. I'll sign up. I'm assuming that's how she gained business, And it would be nice to be like, hey, all right, that worked, but come out clean and say, wipe your hands clean of this and say, hey, the genesis was not clean. And, there were victims, me being involved, and Britney, who was locked up for 13, 14 years.
There were a lot of legal cases you were involved in, even with Lynn. Are you able to speak about them now?
What do you want to know?
There's even more to watch of our exclusive interview with Sam Lutfi, so hit that subscribe button as well as that bell for alerts and smash that thumbs up. Also, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought of the interview. You can also click the playlist there on the left to watch all the episodes in order, or click the button on the right to support us by watching the uncensored versions over on PopcornedPlanet.com. Sign up today.